Thank you for joining me today on the Perry Stone YouTube channel. You know, for many years, people have recognized that we go to Israel every year except for the years during COVID when it was impossible to travel. One of the questions that I have received after coming to Israel, the Holy Land, Jordan, one trip to Egypt, is what is your favorite place in the Holy Land, especially the nation of Israel? Well, you know, in Jordan, your favorite place has to be Petra, the most incredible, you can't even describe Petra unless you go there and see it. It's just almost like a Hollywood movie set cut out of rock. But without a doubt, the first time I came to this location, it was my favorite place. This is called Nimrod's Fortress. It was not built by the man Nimrod, which is mentioned in the book of Genesis. But it was named by Muslims who conquered this area later as Nimrod's Fortress because the name Nimrod in Hebrew is a very strong one. And they knew that this was a fortress. Now, this fortress sits up on a hill in the northern part of Israel called the Golan Heights. So we're just going to take a lot of pictures here and show you some things. One of the most fascinating things to me, this was a tower at one time, is the type of stones that are used there on this tower. If you will, you can see, and I know it's a little difficult with a smaller camera, but you can see that there are surfaces that have a border around them, and the stone, the facade of the stone kind of comes out a little bit, very rough. And that, according to Rabbi Getz, who was a friend of mine, one of the leading rabbis in Jerusalem, is a earlier dated stone. Now, you see those stones in the walls of Jerusalem, and he believed that that type of stone that has the 90-degree angle, real rough facade, may go back to the time of Solomon. And of course, if you go to Jerusalem, there's another type of hand's breadth border around those stones in the walls of Jerusalem that date back to the time of Herod the Great. They call him Herod the Great. There wasn't anything great about him, but they call him Herod the Great because he was a builder. But if you were to walk this, and it takes you a lot of time to walk it, you can see the stones. This whole mountain is nothing but rock. In fact, all these mountains up here are nothing but rock and stone. And you can see again, I think what fascinates me about this is it almost looks like a movie set. And then over here on the right side, there's some arches that you can see down in the area where these arches are very common in Crusaders, in the time of when the Crusaders were in the Holy Land. And you look at this and you say to yourself, how does that arch keep from collapsing? And it's the way that the stones are cut. So all of these arches here will indicate the time when this was made by just the shape of the arches and the way the stones are cut, which is the Crusader period. And you may know a little bit about the history of the Crusades, how that the Crusaders were basically Christians who came into the Holy Land to quote unquote liberate the Holy Land from the Muslims. And there were a number of Crusades, and it went back and forth and back and forth. And finally, the Mamelukes came in this area and took over this vicinity. The Mamelukes are very interesting because they came out of probably the area of China, and they were brought in as children, as slaves, into Egypt, and they became the bodyguards of the Egyptian businessmen and the Egyptian merchants and the Egyptian monarchy, and they were very, very strong. So eventually they said to themselves, look, if we're protecting everybody and they need us to protect all these people, there were thousands and thousands of the Mamelukes, they said, then why don't we just have our own group, our own kingdom, our own empire? So they began to take over things. So, and I'm really abbreviating history here. So the Mamelukes took this entire mountain from the Crusaders, and they were here for quite a bit of time. And of course, over time, it would change hands and it would fall into ruins. And you had occasionally some earthquakes at different times in history, which probably toppled some of the stones here, I'm sure. But this is a fascinating place, and let's just get a shot of these large rocks here. You can see this is part of the stones that are up in the Golan Heights area, because this area was at one time a very active volcanic area. It's called the basalt type of rocks, and they're noted because they are a darker color, and they're basically very, very early old volcanic rocks from this area. So you asked me what's my favorite place in the Holy Land. It's this place right here. And once again, we've done some taping over here. We've talked about what Abraham's vision and the War of Gog of Magog. You can see look, the Lord made this day just for the Perry Stone YouTube channel and our friends, because there's very little wind. It's going to be 80 degrees. We taped this in the month of November. It literally cannot get any better than it is right now. No clouds in the sky. I'm just telling you, we're having a time. Now remember this, that we're going to be taping from Israel. So you need to watch every video that we do from Israel, because I'm going to take you places that maybe a lot of people don't get to see, or maybe they get to see on a Holy Land tour, but we'll give you some little nuggets that might inspire you or teach you things you did not know before. So that's why it's important to watch every Perry Stone YouTube video that comes from the Holy Land, and subscribe to our channel. Many of you outside the United States, you need to do that. You in Canada need to do that. Some of our Latino friends need to do that. Please subscribe to our channel, and so that we can reach more people, and hit that bell so that you'll have a notification. Now, as always, we have something special that we offer you at the end of our YouTube teaching, and here's something for you, so keep watching. This is Perry Stone. I am so excited to be able to present to you and your family two of the most exciting audio teachings that I have done in many years. Will Jesus Return by 2033, and the special teaching, The Soon Closing Out of the Church Age. Now, I want to talk for a moment and tell you that I'm not predicting the return of Christ in 2033, but I am saying to you that it is the most pivotal transitional date that we have encountered in our lifetime and in modern history. And I'm going to show you why that 2033 is the most important prophetic date in the prophetic cycle. And we're going to talk about God's calendar and God's timing and the events surrounding where we are going in the distant future. I also want to present to you a very special teaching, The Soon Closing Out of the Church Age. The church age is also known as the dispensation of the grace of God, and it will eventually come to a conclusion with Christ's return. Then the wrath of God is going to be globally released in what is called the Great Tribulation. Now, on this 2 audio CD series, you will discover details on how, why, and when this major prophetic transition will occur. Man, this is a very powerful message. It is filled with fascinating new insight, and it provides keys to understanding soon coming events. Now, you can now get both of these audio CD messages. There are 4 CDs, 4 hours of teaching for your love gift of $30 or more. We really need your help to keep Manifest on the air. The way that you order this special teaching is by going to perrystone.org and ordering online, or call 1-888-21-BREAD toll-free and order that way. Or you can also write me at Perry Stone, P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee 37320. Now, when you call or write, you have to request offer number PR-138, and it is the special brand new prophecy updates. We're hoping to hear from you, and we just pray that God will continue to bless you.
If you enjoyed this YouTube content, there's an important website you should know about: perrystone.org. Perrystone.org is an essential resource for the latest books, audiovisual presentations, and digital products from Perry Stone Ministries, resources that cover the same kinds of topics discussed in the program you just watched. Stop in and see all that's available at perrystone.org.